The way football boots have evolved over the last 15 years or so is by far the most interesting aspect of this industry to me. How we could go from something like this to something like this in a span of just 12 years is absolutely insane. Which also leads to boots like this, but that's a different story for a different video. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you a video today that I've wanted to make for a long time. I just never knew what to call it, but as you can see by the title of this video, this is how Nike and Adidas are controlling your preferences when it comes to football boots, which boots you like, essentially brainwashing you without even realizing it. And the reason why I say Nike and Adidas is because they are by far the two most popular brands and definitely the industry leaders right now, and really the industry leaders I would say for the last 15 years or so. With that in mind, here's what they're doing and you don't even realize it. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, don't forget to support it with a like. And if you're new here watching for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You better do it. So basically the way I'm gonna do this is I'm just gonna start laying out the facts, things that I don't think a lot of people necessarily think about, mainly because they're normal and I'm not normal. I'm constantly thinking about football boots. I should be doing other things with my life, but I don't do that for whatever reason. So basically listen to these facts and kind of draw your own conclusions. And full transparency, yes, I do get sent product for free from basically every brand that you can think of. However, when I get products for free, that does not change my opinion in any way. If I get sent a brand new boot and I don't think it's very good, I'm gonna say that I don't think it's very good. Also, because people asked me about this shirt, I figured it was fitting to wear because it does have blacked out logos. I did not do that myself. This shirt actually comes like this, and I'm pretty sure Adidas sent it to me. So again, full transparency through this entire video. Let's start with the concept of newer equals better. This is something I have discussed on the channel before, but I want to dive a little deeper into this just so we can get a better understanding of what exactly this means. We live in the age of social media, where not only are we always on social media, but so are all these big brands. And most of us who are enthusiasts, if you're watching this channel, you probably follow Nike and you probably follow Adidas on Instagram or Facebook or whatever form of social media it might be, which means that whenever that brand has a brand new product, they are able to put it in your face instantaneously. The second that it's available is the second that you're able to see it, which is why we are getting more and more new colors and models far more regularly than we ever used to get. Now, I kind of feel like it's human nature to believe that newer equals better, which is something that these brands do exploit. That's why they put out so much new product. But a lot of people also believe that the new product is always going to be an improvement over the old one. And often that is the case, but not all the time. And again, personal preference plays a huge role in what you're going to like and not like about certain football boots. And I think the current generation of Mercurials is a great example of that. The Vapor 12 Elite and the Superfly 6 Elite, they're both really good, but a lot of people still prefer the Superfly 5 and the Vapor 11. Those are similar in regards to certain concepts, but a lot different as well in regards to the materials used, the way that they fit, the way that they feel. Everyone likes something a little bit different, but because these big brands are able to pay lots of pro players to wear the latest and greatest products, and all the eyes are on those pro players, automatically you assume if Cristiano Ronaldo loves the new Superfly, surely I will too. And don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on any brand for coming out with new products more frequently. I personally love seeing it. I've kind of dedicated my life to this over the last 6 years here on YouTube, making reviews of all the latest and greatest products. However, what I do not like to see, and what we are seeing a lot of these days because of how frequent the new releases are, is we're seeing change for the sake of change. If the new model doesn't improve upon the old one, or at least give us something completely different, what's the point of putting out that brand new model? And that's something that I think a lot of people need to realize, and it is somewhat reflected in when a new model comes out, and they don't necessarily do that well in regards to sales. But again, people need to recognize that newer does not always mean better. It's exciting, yes, but not necessarily better. I think a very interesting and somewhat mysterious topic when it comes to football boots is the actual cost of manufacturing. How much does it actually cost Nike to make a $275 Superfly 6 Elite? Well, there really isn't any way for us to know 100% how much it costs, but there's a lot more aside from just materials that a lot of people don't consider when it comes to the development of a final product. Now, One thing that you need to keep in mind is that while that $275 Superfly seems really expensive, Nike is not actually selling very many of those. Yes, all your friends might have them, but when you consider how many people have the top-end Superfly versus the $80 takedown variation, I would assume it's 100 to 1. There really is no comparison. These brands are making their money on the lower end, cheaper models rather than the high-end ones. The high-end ones exist for the sake of generating hype. They're the most expensive for these companies to develop because you have to consider the development costs. This is not something they're just making up in a day. It's something that they are figuring out over the course of a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, however long it might be. That's gonna vary from brand to brand. You got a team of people working on one single boot that's gonna come out in 2 years, figuring everything out as far as how it's going to perform and the materials. Materials are a very interesting one because obviously knitted uppers have become extremely popular, and leather boots that used to be kind of known as the best thing to have when it comes to football boots are kind of going away. Why are leather boots going away? Because Nike and Adidas, and I would say most of the football boot industry, wants them to go away because it's more expensive for them to make. Now this might be a Santa Claus isn't real type moment for you, but leather boots are made out of a natural material. Leather is the skin of an animal. So when a boot says that it's kangaroo leather, that's actually the skin of a kangaroo. That's how that works. Here's the thing about leather though. In order for these companies to acquire it, they actually have to buy it from a company that sources all the leather. It's not a material that they can develop on their own. And as far as I know, no brand out there actually produces and I guess sources their own leather material. They have to buy it from a different company that's obviously going to control the pricing of that leather. So if Nike wants leather for the Tiempo Legend 7 Elite, they have to buy it from another company supplying that kangaroo leather at whatever they're going to charge based on how much Nike is going to make, I guess. Think about that versus the cost of something like Flyknit. They can source the material themselves, they can manufacture the material themselves, they can treat the material themselves. It's all something that they can actually control. And guess what? When they can control all of those things in regards to how the boot is manufactured, their cost is going to be significantly lower. So I think a large reason why leather boots are dying in popularity is one, because we are seeing less of them, but part of the reason why we're seeing less of them is because it's much more, I guess, profitable or beneficial for these brands to develop their own knitted uppers, their own synthetic materials. That's really why synthetics have taken over in the last 10 years when it comes to football boots. And a lot of guys who have been around for a longer time, like myself, I really love leather boots. It's sad to see less leather boots out there because a lot of people growing up, they just think that knitted boots are the best thing ever and there's nothing else quite like it. And knitted boots are great. I don't have anything against them, but there is a very big reason why knitted boots have become so popular. It's because it's actually cheaper for these brands to make them rather than sourcing the leather from another company where they don't control the costs. The boot industry is also very much driven by the next big thing. These new concepts, these new ideas that are supposedly making for better performance, but they actually exist more so for the sake of shock value and thinking that you're getting this revolutionary technology, when in reality, you're just getting something new that isn't necessarily better than what we had before, it's just a little bit different. In 2014, I really feel like Nike shook up the football boot industry with the introduction of Flyknit boots and mid-cut design. Superfly 4, Magista Ober 1, those were truly revolutionary as far as being mid-cut knitted general release boots that everyone could go and buy. And then Adidas more recently introducing laceless boots with the A16 Plus Pure Control. That really shook up the industry as well. We now see plenty of laceless boots from Adidas in pretty much all of their different tiers, and I don't think that's going to go away. Now with all of these technologies, because they are new and exciting and based around the marketing, where obviously these brands are going to tell you that these new and exciting technologies are also going to improve your performance, most people just tend to believe them even without actually testing it themselves. And even once they've tested it, because they've basically been convinced in their mind by these brands that this is the latest and greatest thing that they need to have in order to perform optimally, even if the boots aren't actually that good, they've already convinced themselves that they are. So the actual performance value that these new technologies have on offer almost doesn't matter because you have been brainwashed to believe that it's good no matter what, and nobody is going to convince you otherwise. And that's really the thought process that I try to get people out of with this particular channel. If you go watch any of the videos where I've had negative reviews, I've even made videos saying these are the boots that I would not buy for reasons why I would not buy them. Often in the comments of those videos, not necessarily the people who are subscribed to this channel, because they kind of understand my point of view, but just random people that click on the video, they'll often leave a negative comment saying that, one, I don't know what I'm talking about, or two, you don't recommend anything, you're just a hater. I'm not a hater when it comes to football boots. I try everything, and I tell you whether or not I think it's good or bad based on my own personal experience, not only just with that particular product, but based on other products that are available at similar price points, your other options essentially, because not every product is necessarily going to be worth buying, even if it's not that bad. That's kind of the point of looking up a review. But a lot of people, like I said, even if they have those products, even if they don't have those products, they've already convinced themselves, regardless of whether or not the product is good or bad, that it is really good and they've made the right choice. And that's fine. If you have to convince yourself through marketing that the product is good and that's how you kind of decide on what you like, I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but is that the right way of going about things? Probably not. What I would advise if you're looking to buy brand new boots is, yes, take a look at what's new, do your research, watch videos, watch channels like this, and get an idea of what you're getting into. But ultimately, you have to form your own opinion. Don't just follow the crowd, don't just fall for the marketing, because honestly, none of that matters at all. You're the person that has to wear the boots on your feet, so you have to like them. And as long as you can be honest with yourself and I guess truly understand what you're getting into, that's when you're gonna make the right decision on which boots are best for you. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. At this point, I'm not even really sure what I talked about, but I'm pretty sure there was information there that you might have found at least a little bit useful. If you did, be sure to support this with a like. If you have any questions at all regarding topics that I discussed in this video, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. And if you have any other suggestions for video topics you'd like to see on the channel, leave that down below in the comments as well. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.